Fresh off the press, breaking news. Caitlin Clark is coming back. Caitlin Clark is coming back. She's coming back, ladies. Is formally recognized. Indeed, I believe it's simply pleasant to return to the field and resume playing with my teammates. Additionally, it will be enjoyable to return to the open world. I hope, yes. I feel fairly fantastic. But I'm probably going to try not to push myself too much and instead do what will help me in the future. This is what we required. The gold has returned. It's official. The stillness was abruptly broken by Caitlin Clark. She has returned and she intends to target the Valkyries. She is officially making a comeback after being out for weeks, and this time it will be personal. It was Caitlin Clark's return. Caitlin Clark is coming back. The world needed something like this. Indiana choked in the fourth the last time they played, but not this time. No, not with 22 back. What a star Caitlin Clark is. She is among the most accomplished female athletics. The success of women's basketball and the WNBA is largely due to Caitlin Clark, carrying out enormous business for a league that has no history of it. Right now, leave a 100% in the comments if you're a huge fan of Caitlin Clark. Let's begin. The Caitlin Clark effect is the term used to describe her influence and presence in women's basketball. The nation is in love with what we have produced. As well as America, this is the grown-up version of the girl next door. Clark, Caitlin. Officially, Caitlin Clark is coming back. Caitlin Clark was expected to return. Official. Not just for any game either. She will return to action against the Golden State Valkyries, who gave Indiana one of their most painful defeats this season. Guys, it appears that Caitlin Clark will be making a comeback. She will return to play when the Golden State Valkyries visit. Indiana faltered in the fourth quarter of that game, but Clark is back to change the course of events this time. Following a period of sitting, Caitlin was ruled out due to injury, but the Fever's medical staff cleared her to play in this crucial game. Stephanie White, the coach, attested to it herself. According to Stephanie White, coach of the Indiana Fever, she is expected to make a comeback. Clark will be in uniform and prepared to lead, barring any last-minute hiccups. Additionally, Stephanie White states that she expects Caitlin Clark to return if there are no obstacles. This is Stephanie White from Chloe Peterson. Unless there is a regression, when the Golden State Valkyries play tomorrow, Caitlin Clark will be available. There's more to this than good news. This might affect the course of the season. Why? Because she is more needed than ever by the Fever. She has missed precisely half of the season due to injury. And the Indiana Fever are currently in a dire need of her. The most crucial game is this one. At this point, each of these games is significant. In the standings, Indiana and the Valkyries are tied. Both clubs have comparable records, and the competition for a postseason spot is becoming fierce. There is very little room for error. The Fever might fall in the rankings with just one defeat. They might move into the top 6 with another victory. The Fever can easily place in that top 6. To be clear, even though the Valkyries play hard, they are not invincible. After wilting late in both games, they have now lost 2 in a row. They don't receive the same foul calls when they're not at home. All the Valkyries do is hack humans. Away from home, they don't receive the positive signal. Additionally, Caitlin's offensive skill set is superior to theirs. Given that Clark is in charge, this is a highly winnable game. They have dropped both of their recent games, and they have somewhat waned in the latter two. Those matches. And their record is identical to that of the Fever. She adds energy that cannot be replaced. Although teammates like Kelsey Mitchell and Ari McDonald have stepped up, the true engine is undeniable. Just having Caitlin on the court changes the game, even when she isn't scoring 30 points. Without her, it's not as much fun to watch the Indiana Fever. Her mere presence creates opportunities for Aaliyah Boston. Boston Aaliyah will return toe-making, easy baskets, and making the other team's defense work more than they would like to. Simply observing how the defense plan is working and how the game is progressing. The nicest aspect is that she won't return to exercise caution. Caitlin performed flawlessly on the first bucket during her 5-on-5 session in front of Fever supporters. I took part in a 5-on-5 practice yesterday in front of VIP Indiana Fever supporters. The first bucket was created by her. Since I had never done this before, it was a wonderful experience. I'm content, and I can speak for my teammates because I know them. It's just a matter of entertaining them, letting them know a little bit more about us, and watching us continue to develop that chemistry. She is both physically and mentally stimulated as she feels the beat. Sitting there and observing for a few weeks is obviously difficult. I'm eager to return. For that reason, she declared for herself that it's time to rejoin her comrades in order to compete fiercely and provide the vitality this squad has been lacking. She should play if they say she's healthy. Remember that Clark's average was 16, 5 points, 8, 3 rebounds, and 6, 3 assists prior to the injury. For a rookie, the level of performance is not only remarkable, but exceptional. And at this moment, that is all the Fever require. Just Caitlin being Caitlin. Number 30-point outbursts. Yes, I feel quite fantastic, but I'm probably going to try to avoid going overboard and instead put myself in a good position going forward. Regulating her speed and dropping dimes as if she didn't have to drop 30. We're content in hitting those long threes when it counts, if you give us your averages. This is more than just a resurgence game. You have to win. Additionally, Caitlin Clark is prepared to take the call. Caitlin Clark went beyond simply announcing her return. She messaged, "Let me play my game." That message, Caitlin finally said something after weeks of silence and conjecture. Furthermore, she didn't limit her remarks to basketball. It was a subtly obvious challenge to those who were attempting to manage her game from a distance. She declared that she is prepared to play hard, compete, and contribute energy. In my opinion, it's just pleasant to return to the field and resume playing with my teammates. And, it will be enjoyable to hopefully return to the outside world and experience things once more. I'm not sure what kind of minutes I'll receive, I believe. We'll examine similar. Just make sure you play hard and compete when I'm out there. This is going to be a crew that is always on the go, Therefore, simply being conscious and engaged adds vitality. However, don't count on her to wait for the approval. Even though she used caution while speaking, her deeds and her admirers speak for herself. First, let's talk about what goes on behind the scenes. Several reports and videos, Caitlin appears to be in good shape, according to Fever practices. Has been hitting shots, running with the starters, and developing a rapport with Aari McDonald in particular. This is significant because in the past, Caitlin was frequently relegated to the sidelines as other guards, such as Sydney Colson or Erica Wheeler, controlled the ball and paid her little attention. It looks terrific when Caitlin Clark and Aari McDonald play off the ball. That Aari genuinely wants to throw her the ball, which is entirely different than when both Colson and Erica Wheeler were present. As a result, Caitlin and the spectators were frustrated and there were squandered possessions and a broken flow. Now that Aari McDonald is in the rotation, however, things are different. Trust, enthusiasm, and movement are all present. They simply gave us credit after I congratulated the three of us. I appreciate you making them look nice. However, I want to express my gratitude to them and encourage them to continue being authentic. Enjoy the present and have fun. Aari tries to find Caitlin. She does not exclude her. Additionally, Caitlin's play is no longer passive when she plays off the ball. It is a calculated move. Only when we are running a play for Caitlin Clark should she be off the ball. Quick flares, off screens, pick and roll setups, and motion offense. A dynamic structure like that is what allows Clark to flourish. Playing off the ball is fine with me as long as there is a motion offense, not the run the clock out, slow down approach that Coach Stephanie White has been holding on to. This leads us to the tension that is simmering beneath the surface. Let's face it, many people are beginning to doubt Stephanie White, her intent on imposing an antiquated Connecticut Sun style of play, her strict offensive scheme, and her refusal to allow Caitlin the latitude to direct the offense. According to Stephanie White, the low guard starting the high guard and the outlet. We're not playing that way, Stephanie White. Receiving the outlet has angered experts and fans. According to Caitlin Clark, the minutes restriction talk is one of the most vocal criticisms. Fans and experts instantly object to Clark's statement that she might be at her limit. Your star athletes shouldn't be held back at this time. The Fever are vying for a postseason spot. Position, attempting to get traction, and the league is keeping an eye on everything Clark does. Not everyone is watching her take 8 shots in 22 minutes. Watch her take control. They're paying attention. And let's face it, there's a feeling of unfairness. As she grew older, Caitlin Clark was excluded from the Olympic squad. Diana Taurasi and other declining players received goodbye roster places during the Olympics. Diana Taurasi was an absolute mess. Not a single DNP played. Why? Not due to performance. The elder guard of USA Basketball didn't want to cede the limelight just yet, even though Clark was having a far better season. The elderly women's basketball guard was envious of Clark's attention, according to fans and commentators. They didn't want her to overtake their favorites or smash records. Not only was that Olympic snub a poor choice, it was political and deliberate. Due to her advanced age, Caitlin Clark would never be able to match or surpass Diana Taurasi's record if Taurasi was added to the squad instead of Caitlin Clark. Clark is now coming back with something to prove to the basketball community as a whole, not just to her team or her supporters. Furthermore, she is no longer requesting permission. She is demonstrating her independence by refusing to demand the ball during a transition. Hide in the offensive. Give her the reins and she will decide what to do. Control is the only thing Caitlin desires. The stats speak for themselves once she has it. She is the league's top transition playmaker. She is a pass-through of generations. She is the league's top transition playmaking guard because she can hit threes 5 feet behind the line. Opponents are forced to radically alter their approach. Is Stephanie White going to let Caitlin Clark be herself once she's free to be herself? When she is leading the offense, Indiana appears to be a different squad. Remember what occurred when she was last let go? She scored 32 points against the New York Liberty. She was strapped up for the Sun game just after that game. That wasn't an anomaly. The shot was a warning. The supporters are aware of it. The players are aware of it. The media is aware of it. Even Coach White is aware of it in her heart. And she has been harmed again as a result of playing when she isn't feeling well. Easing her in is not the goal here. She should be allowed to cook. We will rip you up if you stand in Caitlin Clark's way. We're going to be there for you. Our focus will be on you. I'd better not botch this up. I'd rather not see. Don't attempt to revive that motion offense from Dana Bonner's Connecticut Sun. It's not a luxury to let Caitlin Clark play her game. It's essential when we're attacking. Turn your back on the game. Don't even bother about Caitlin's offensive behavior. It's because if you're looking to win, if you're a chemistry, give the ball to number 22 and move out of her way to invigorate a team and a community. Mentally, it's been hard. You know, you're much busier when you're hurt than when you're even coming in. And all you do is come out here and walk through stuff, scout video, and so on. You see, I'm working here for hours on end to try to get my body in shape and do everything I can to make myself available for the remainder of the year. That's definitely my aim, and I feel good, a boo thought. And, well, it's absolutely difficult. I believe the reason it's been so difficult is that I've never experienced it before. I'm just giving myself grace as I continue to recover and get my bearings. But I also think it's been a great opportunity for me and has taught me a lot. I believe that when the season ends and I reach the playoffs, this will be a moment I can reflect on, and it's more than just a comeback game. Caitlin Clark made this declaration to the league as a whole. we must be clear. The WNBA is aware of the future. The executives, players, and coaches sense it and have done all in their power to impede her ascent. The problem is that you cannot stop what is unavoidable. There is more to Caitlin Clark's comeback than the Fever regaining their star against the Valkyries in a league that has spent months attempting to limit, control, and confine her. It marks a symbolic turning point. She was not included in the Olympic squad. Her record-breaking debut season was minimized. And when she was hurt, they even spread the myth that Indiana may be a better place without her. Take a moment to process that. This player averaged almost 17 points per game during her first 16 WNBA games. 5 rebounds, 6 assists, and points every game. Clark's average was 16.5 points, 8 points, 8, 3 rebounds, 6. During her first 16 games of the WNBA season, she averaged 3 assists per game before being passed over. Few rookies in the history of the league have even approached those numbers. Her influence extends beyond the statistics. Arenas are selling out because of her. Because of her TV ratings are at all-time highs. Because of her WNBA merchandise is selling out quickly. Nevertheless, the league passed her up for a berth that was given to Diana Taurasi. Yes, she is a legend, but she is long past her best. In her recently published book, Christine Brennan claims that Taurasi's place on Team USA wasn't merited. It was a gift of farewell. Diana Taurasi's addition to the squad was a part in Caitlin Clark's failure, locked in well before the final choices were made. This meant that even though Caitlin was more worthy by every conceivable metric, she was never really taken into account from the start. Even worse, though, the committee didn't simply leave her out because of basketball politics. They acknowledged that they feared criticism from fans. It was not Caitlin's performance that worried them the most. It was the wave she didn't receive. Enough playing time, her enormous fan base might respond. Consider that, because she was too well liked. A young musician was excluded from the largest stage. Caitlin didn't lash out, though. The hypocrisy went unnoticed by her. She didn't lose her temper. She went to work without saying anything. Now that she's back and the target is obvious, that hush is the quiet before the storm. On the court, start with the Valkyries and prove everyone incorrect. Stephanie White is giving the world confirmation. Caitlin Clark has returned. According to Stephanie White, Caitlin Clark should be back in the starting lineup against Golden State tomorrow afternoon if there are no setbacks. The Fever lost the game in the fourth quarter the previous time they played Indiana. Fans would yell at the TV during one of those games. Where's Caitlin? Why? This time, everything is different. Why is she standing in the corner? Isn't she leading the offense? Clark is aware that this is a personal game. Superstars are drawn to this type of game. The Valkyries have a lot of body. They hack. They grind. They attempt to enter your mind. However, they're exposed without their familiar whistles and home fans. Additionally, Clark does well under duress. She has competed against stronger crowds with greater stakes in noisier gyms. However, the fact that Clark now has motivation on top of incentive makes this much more dangerous for the other players in the league. She has received disrespect. People have questioned her. They've told her to wait for her turn. She's had enough, too. She has seen others receive opportunities that she has merited. She has witnessed the league sacrifice genuine merit in order to defend the old guard. She has witnessed stories being promoted. Caitlin Clark's remarks about a few more years that disparage her leadership, her skill, and her contribution to the Fever's advancement have some Indiana Fever supporters feeling a little uneasy. However, each time the she glows brighter when the league attempts to extinguish it. Remember? She had a wild run after being passed over for the Olympics, leading Indiana to some of its greatest victories. She answered with buckets, not complaints. And the fire has returned. The league need to be most afraid of this, Caitlin Clark. concentrated, indignant, rested, and in good health. Supported by Ori McDonald, Kelsey Mitchell, this Fever squad isn't just having its best player back, with Aaliyah Boston poised to capitalize on the space Caitlin generates and hitting her shots. It's reaching its greatest potential. They begin to compete for the top 4 or 5 seeds with Caitlin, because the WNBA's entire structure is actually changing. Conversation is being forced by Caitlin's entrance. She belongs to the old guard. You must realize that she is a member of the old guard, who played this sluggish, methodical, dull basketball about how coaches use their stars, how the league markets its players, and how old methods are stifling a fresh generation of potential. The pressure is no longer limited to Indiana. The entire league is affected. Each squad that disregarded her, every pundit who claimed she wasn't prepared, every coach who attempted to trap her, and yes, every executive who excluded her from the Olympic roster out of concern for her publicity. Clark isn't just returning to win a game, which is why everyone is watching now. Free is returning to alter the course of events. Let's get to work, brother. It's time to show the league we have the potential to win a title. Additionally, they are the first to use the Valkyries as an example. This team defeated us. The game was sucked away by us. Caitlin Clark isn't simply coming back. She is addressing the league, the Valkyries, and all of the critics who believed they could silence her. Retaliation is not the point here. This is about taking back authority, changing perceptions, and proving to the world that she is more than a rookie. She is the WNBA's future. The game has been altered by Clark. In college, and the WNBA, she made a change. Nation has been enamored with our creation. And here's the grown-up girl next door, America. Clark, Caitlin. Breaking collegiate scoring records and introducing women's basketball to a new audience. Caitlin Clark has enthralled the country. She is a phenomenon. The Caitlin Clark effect is the term used to describe her influence and presence in women's basketball. It's a win the Fever need. Caitlin is aware of it, and now her message is plain. If it wasn't before, I've returned and I'm coming. For everyone who didn't believe in me. The first 2 cents, it are the Valkyries. Officially, Caitlin Clark is back. She made the announcement. You guys are going to have a hard time tomorrow, Valkyries. Put Clark's retaliation in the comments if you think Caitlin Clark is going to lose it and end the league forever. Please remember to subscribe, like, and share since this return. It's only the beginning.